Morning, everyone. I thought today we'd talk about Cabernet, and more particularly with our senior winemaker, or head of the winemaking team, Bruce Gregory, who's been making Cabernet here in Coonawarra for 25, 30 years.
Yeah, over 30 years.
Anyway.
Yeah, long time.
Cabernet and Coonawarra go well together. Why, Bruce?
Oh, certainly Cabernet Sauvignon is well suited for this area, Brian.
Do we know why?
Oh, it's certainly planting conditions. If you looked outside the window today, it's a little bit overcast, so it's got a nice thick skin. You can handle some wet weather. It's suited for cooler growing conditions. It has a nice long, slow ripening period, and it's conducive to cooler climates in other parts of the world as well.
Because, if we look back to the 60s, there was very little Cabernet in Australia, and not that much in Coonawarra. But look now, it is the predominant grape, I think.
Oh, very much so. Certainly the most predominant grape variety in Coonawarra.
And also here in Magella?
Yes. Over 50% of our vineyards are planted to Cabernet Sauvignon, and it grows very well on. So
as drinkers, what should we be looking for in, say, a Magella Cabernet? What are the characteristics?
Certainly Cabernet Sauvignon ranges in styles. So from a greener spectrum, you can have sort of leafy, herbaceous notes right through to ripe, plummy characters. So when you look at Magella Cabernet, certainly we have a range of spectrums. So we certainly have our mint eucalyptus character. That's what we look for. Certainly with the riper, plummier characters you can get in particular years. So red fruits are quite typical of what we get on the palate.
So what would you be looking at? What are the specs that when we're going to pick Cabernet, what are you looking at in regards to, of course, bourbon levels of acids and things? Range?
Yep. Certainly the range of Cabernet Sauvignon, we would be looking for BOMO would be 13.5 to 14.5, which equates to 13.5 to 14.5% alcohol. Typical acids will be 6 to 7 grams of acid, which the pH will end up being 3.3, 3.4, would be a nice acid for us. Flavour profile from that, I certainly want to smell some herbaceousness in the style because of where our Cabernet goes. We do want that typical varietal definition that we get from this block. And we look for length of flavour in the juice. So I actually do want to see some tannin structure. You can actually pick that up through the sweetness. And the fruit in reasonable condition.
So reasonably slow ferment? Is a ferment 4 or 5 days, 6 or 8 days, 2 weeks?
No, certainly with 5 days on skins. Our style is barrel fermented style.
Which means?
It goes into the ferment on skins for 5 days, and as it's finishing towards the end of primary fermentation, we press the juice off and pump it to barrels, so it finishes fermentation in barrels.
Yeah, so it's fizzy when it's going.
Yes, certainly is. Yeah, it's still fermenting. It'll be a range of 2 BOMO.
What does that do? What does that impart?
Certainly barrel fermentation gives you a fruitcake complexity, so you're getting a lot of other flavours. You're picking up oak a lot earlier because it's actually in the barrels a month earlier than would normally be. And we want that complexity. We're picking up oak tannins as well. We're not getting the bitterness out of the seeds because we're actually finishing fermentation off before we get those dry seed tannins coming through. And some of those seed tannins can actually be quite toxic for yeast. So we actually want to remove that seed early on before the yeast starts stressing.
And then obviously after the wine's cleaned up, Malo ferments in barrel aging for about how long?
Certainly once we've finished, there's a long process between primary fermentation finishing, and there's a couple of rackings in between that, back into those. Because we batch process Cabernet Sauvignon, meaning we can identify where the block is from that particular batch, and that batch stays as a single past all its life. So a couple of rackings back and forth into the same group of barrels. It's finished Malo, and from there, it usually takes around 18 months for us to have a finished wine.
And a good percentage of new wood or old wood?
Again, depending on the style of Cabernet we're making, premium or a super premium, the GPL 68 is 100% new wood. Our straight Cabernet is 50% new wood. And the other Cabernet, which goes into our musician, is only a small percent of new wood.
I think in future we should talk about oak, maybe do a little video out in the barrel store if anyone's interested. So after that bottling, of course, which we don't do here, do we?
No, it's not done on site. We actually put it on a tanker and ship it off to the Barossa Valley for bottling. And the people up there that we use are quite good at what they do, have all sorts of accreditations.
Aging potential? How long do you reckon the last of the bottle?
Oh, certainly. We'll talk about straight Cabernet, this one you're showing. Absolutely 10 years plus. It's under a Stelvin screw cap now, so it has a measured amount of oxygen that goes through the closure, and therefore the aging potential is slowed down a little bit. Absolutely.
I mean, certainly I've got reports of the 94s for Coonawarra, which was under cork, aging beautifully still and still drinking well. And certainly, when did we move to Stelvin? 2001, we did a commercial trial. Yep. So from 2001 onwards, we released. And I certainly know 2004, if I remember rightly, we moved to screw cap rather than cork. And I know that 2004 and 2005 look spectacular.
Yes,
from all the reports that I've got back from you people out there that still have Magella in your cellar. So we know that they age well. Hopefully later on we'll have a full vertical and some comments from the noted wine writer about his views on them. So that's Magella Cabernet. Coonawarra, of course, famous for Cabernet, and I think I'm proud of him saying it's pity we can't scan around, and one day we will and look at all the trophies that we have won, predominantly for Cabernet Sauvignon. So Magella Cabernet.